Nigeria's non-oil exports have recorded massive growth as the country exported products worth 2.593 billion, I beg your pardon, dollars in the first half of 2022. Well, the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer of NEPC, Dr. Ezra Yakusak, while briefing newsmen in Abuja on the performances of NEPC for January to June, noted that the significant growth recorded by the council represents 62.37% increase from the $1.59 billion exported within the same period in 2021, despite the global economic downturn due to the pandemic that affected most businesses in 2021. Take a listen to what he said in the briefing.
The analysis from the tons of these pre-shipment inspection agents indicates that the January to June 2022 export performance is the highest half-year non-oil export performance since 2018. The trend of products exported from Nigeria is gradually shifting from its traditional agricultural exports to semi-processed and manufactured goods. This can be gleaned from the following product classification as contained in the pre-shipment inspection agents reports. Out of the 10 export destinations of Nigerian products, none is an African country. Only Benin and Niger Republic made it to the top 15. Gentlemen of the press, you can now appreciate our efforts on the need to strategically position Nigerian products in key African countries through our export trade houses.
Or about this, to understand this stellar performance of Nigeria's non-oil sector, I'm being joined by no other person but the number one exporter in the country. He's the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer of the NEPC, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. It's good to see you, sir. Good afternoon.
Nice having me on your show. Thank you very much.
Yes, this report, it's really impressive, I must say, showing that export revenue increased to about 2.6 billion naira in just 6 months. Explain to us, what led to this positive development?
Okay, I can say one of the main things that led to this positive development is the fact that, if you recall, the federal government gave us a grant last year, and that grant was deployed to various MSMEs and various exporters. They benefited from that grant. And that grant was to cushion the effect of COVID-19 on businesses generally. So, but we focused that grant on exporters. And I'm sure, and I believe, with the impact assessment that was made, that grant was judiciously used by exporters, and that contributed to the rise in the export performance this year. And another thing is our Export for Survival campaign. You recall that in February this year, we launched what we call an Export Survival campaign. And the campaign is to persuade and to ask Nigerians to embark on non-oil export as a means of economic viability and as a means of survival. And I'm sure Nigerians listen to our campaign, and they key into the export business. Another factor I must tell you is that when we launched our Export for Survival campaign, you know, we have 34 offices in 34 states. And so we launched that campaign, and all of them went working, and we organized 146 capacity building programs. And in those programs, 17,320 firms, SMEs, participated. And with, a combination of these issues, I'm sure, gave rise to what we are having today as good news.
It looks interesting, but I'm now saying that, would you be saying that you need more support from government? And if that happens, can we get better than this? We know we need proceeds from non-oil exports, particularly at this time. The economy is kind of bleeding when it comes to revenue. With more support, can you do more?
Of course, with more support, we can do more. You can see what the support of 2021 and what government has supported us has done. I mean, the figures are there for everyone to see. And of course, the figures were obtained from the various pre-shipment inspection agents that were appointed by the federal government in line with Section 12 of the Pre-Shipment Inspection Act. So they appointed those pre-shipment inspection agents to to determine the value, the volume, and destination of all exports from Nigeria. So they do fiscal inspection of those exports, and they gave us that figures. I need to tell you, and Nigerians need to know that out of within the time under review, about 200 different products were exported to 112 countries all around the world. And that means that our diversification process is going on. And Nigerians are gradually accepting the fact that non-oil export is the way, to go. Because about, 572 firms or companies participated in this export during the time, during this period under review. And we had, the good news of it is that these exports were made in 16 different exit points. That includes the border points. And I'm mentioning the border points because at the border points, mostly most of the exports are informal, but right now, from the report we are receiving, formal exports are being captured gradually. And also, I also need to mention that there's a trend that is going on that is gladdening our hearts, because in NEPC, we have always encouraged the export of manufactured products, i.e. value addition, as against raw agricultural products. And this year, we can see the trend is changing gradually. Manufactured products constituted about 36.2% of the products that were exported during this period, while raw agricultural products came second with 33.56%. You see, we're gradually going there, despite the challenges or perceived challenges we're having in terms of in the manufacturing sector. There's a lot of improvement in that area.
Interesting stuff there. Now, your efforts aimed at commissioning series of export houses across the continent seems to be a commendable one. I was privileged to witness the one in Nairobi with you. Tell us the motive behind this and how this will spur that kind of growth for non-oil exports as you've projected.
Now, you see, we have the African Continental Free Trade Area. Of course, it's an agreement that has to do with trade, the African trade. And we feel Nigeria has to leverage on it and also do what we need to do to ensure that our products, our exported products, are seen or visible in all African states. And so we commissioned various trade houses in Egypt, Lome, and of course, the one you attended in Nairobi, Kenya. You recall that at the commission of that trade house, we had 105 different products being displayed from Nigeria. While the one in Lome, Togo, we have about 477 different products being displayed in Nigeria. From Nigeria. So what that means is that we are already exposing our products to various countries, to various African countries. And I must tell you that our products are of high value. They are accepted because there's a change in packaging of our products, and our exporters are beginning to get the various certifications that are required for acceptability of their products in the international market. So I can foresee, in the next 2-3 years, there should be a rise of not less than 25 to 30% of our volume of exports.
Let's follow up with that. Some of the products I saw on the shelf, Nairobi looked really attractive, at least to a level I would say they met standards, international standards. Now, I'll ask two questions. Acceptability of our products, what's your assessment? You've been going around. What's your assessment of the level of acceptance? And what are we also doing to continue to improve standards to avoid any form of rejection? We cannot condone that at this time at all.
Okay, in terms of acceptability of our products are well accepted. I need to tell you something that about 3-4 weeks ago, we initiated a project and we felt it was good. And we invited the ambassadors, all foreign ambassadors in Nigeria, for a dinner. And they came to that dinner. And what we did deliberately was to package as a gift different Nigerian products. And we packaged them and gave them to those ambassadors. And the responses we're receiving is massive. And that's to show you that our program, various products have come of age. And I received one of our ambassadors yesterday, and he told me that his package was sent to his family in Antigua, and they were literally fighting to get a test of Nigerian products. You see, we thought it was just a dinner, but we ended up making them our marketers in their various countries. So that's to show you how acceptable our products are. They are acceptable because they've changed the way they do their packaging. The packaging has changed, and packaging is very key. And of course, with our program of Go Global, Go certification, where we encourage various exporters to apply and obtain various mandatory and non-mandatory certifications. They've embraced that, and they've gotten those certifications like HACCP, like Halal, Kosher, the FDA, if you want to export to the US. And so that has increased the acceptability of our products internationally.
I want to take you to a slogan which works for you very well: export for survival. Before I move to my final question. So we must export to survive. So are you saying now that Nigerians, exporters, are now 100% ready to play in that international market and also take advantage of the AFCFTA?
Yes, Nigerians are ready to export. Nigerians, and with our export survival campaign, it's a continuous process.
Yes,
you won't start a thing and expect to get results immediately. The result of what we are doing will not be seen today, but down the line, some few years to come, you will see the results. Because when we launched this export for survival campaign, we wanted to, by the way, when you hear survival, it's an emergency. It's an urgent thing. So we place a crying call to Nigerians to embrace non-oil export as a means for survival. And I'm happy that the response is very encouraging. How do I know the response is encouraging? Because of the fact that the number of companies that have so far registered in NEPC from January to June is 2,000 companies. From January to June this year, we had 2,000 companies registering to export. And these are new entrants into the export space. And so that's a good one for us. And I need to tell Nigerians that the only way to survive economically is non-oil export. If we want to change, we want to see a change in our naira, we want to see our naira appreciate or stabilize against the dollar, we have to export. And why? The only way we can get foreign exchange is through diaspora remittances and through foreign direct investment and non-oil export. Among these three factors, the only factors we have absolute control is non-oil export. We don't have control to a large extent on diaspora remittances. We don't have control on who will come here to invest in Nigeria, but we do have control on where to put our money, i.e. non-oil export. And so that's why we are persistent, we are passionate in calling Nigerians or persuading Nigerians to join us in this campaign and export for survival.
Very interesting one. Okay, Edie, I'll let you go very shortly, but let's highlight one or two challenges that you also face in the process of actualizing this, because I know you can do better, like you said. What are the little challenges and the ones that can be surmounted or addressed short term, maybe long term, and moving on?
Well, I think our challenges, honestly, is funds. Like I said earlier on, you see what the funds, the grant that was given to us by the federal government last year, you can see the increase, you can see the spike. These are things that, like the lawyers will say, is res ipsa loquitur. The fact speaks for itself. You can see what we'll be able to, the efforts we'll be able to make in respect of non-oil export. And so one of our challenges, of course, is finance. If you can have increase in finance, that would be very key. The other challenges is, of course, which we're trying to solve is, the export campaign is not NEPC affair. It's is an institutional thing. And so sometimes we have some institutions that may not come to speed with what we are trying to do. And of course, some institutions also, we've received complaints of challenges, of exporters with other institutions that are involved in the export value chain. But apart from that, we are home and dry. But we are talking to those, we are addressing the issues with those institutions because they are sister organizations from the same government, and we are addressing those issues by interfacing with them and going on bilateral discussions with them.
Let's wrap up this discussion. Now, you've touched on it actually, talking about Forex issues, and considering the fact that we need proceeds from non-oil, that is a known fact, Forex and all of that. Now, let's now have an outlook, considering Ukraine-Russian war, how that has also affected the value chain. What are we expecting as we move on ahead of an election year?
I'll also tell you that Ukraine and Russia war, if you care to know, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
It may be, nobody, I repeat, nobody will want war anywhere in the world, but then it has a lot of disadvantages because human lives are involved and it's regrettable. But then in terms of trade-wise, you see it has affected trade all over the world, but then it has also encouraged trade because some of those things, some of those countries that are lacking, that they cannot access some of the products they used to get from Ukraine and Russia. Nigerians are keen into that. For example, fertilizer. Ukraine, Brazil import fertilizer from Ukraine and Russia. But now Nigerian fertilizer is going to Brazil. By Dangote and Dorama, they are going to Brazil. And of course, they make, the top export product that were exported from January to June this year. And what that means is that the cost in Ukraine, being war, is now turning to be a blessing in Nigeria. So we see that as an advantage for us to move in and key into countries that require our products.
Indeed, it's a good way to leave it. I've been speaking to the executive director. He's also the chief executive officer of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. Thank you so much for giving us time out of your tight schedule. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and we expect more from the non-oil space.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.